morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. A couple of things to get out of the way before I start letting you ask some questions. Obviously, you know this week is International Fight Week. For me to go through everything that will be going on would be crazy and take way too long. So anybody who's coming into town this week for Fight Week and all the events that we have going on, or people that are already here, if you don't know what's going on or where it is, go to UFC.com. All the information is there. That's it, man. Here we are. UFC 148, one of the most anticipated fights in UFC history. This is a big one. I'm pumped. I know you guys are pumped. Who's got the first question? Raise your hands. They'll bring you a microphone. Oh, and one more thing. I want to thank Legacy Stadium for letting us come here and hold the press conference. It's an awesome place for a press conference. Thank you.
For Anderson, please. Anderson, yesterday Dana made it pretty clear that this was a fight you didn't originally want and didn't want to give Chael a rematch. Some people say that's because the fight was so tough for you the first time around. Can you explain why it is that you didn't want to give Chael this fight?
Ontem o Dana falou numa entrevista que você realmente não queria essa luta com o Chael, você acha que ele não merece revanche, e isso é porque a primeira luta era tão difícil ou por que é isso?
Eu tô aqui para lutar com qualquer um, independente de quem seja. É lógico que, na minha opinião, talvez não vá fazer muita coisa, mas eu tô aqui para lutar.
I'm here to fight whoever they put in front of me, and I guess sometimes maybe my opinion doesn't make too much of a difference, but I'm here to fight whoever they put in front of me.
Thank you. And for Chael, obviously you've spoken candidly throughout the build-up to this fight. Some Brazilians say maybe you've crossed the line, you've gone a little bit too far. I'm curious, is there anything that you regret along the way, and how would you address those Brazilians that say, hey man, you went beyond height, you went a little too far in some of the things you said?
First off, I offer absolutely zero apologies. And secondly, listen guys, if you're not willing to go too far, you will never go far enough in life. And I don't care. I don't promote fights, I pick fights. I'm like John Jones, I sound like Sean Combs, and I got trombone-sized stones like John Holmes.
Muita gente se impressionou com o momento que você falou na conferência telefônica. Eu queria saber, você nunca tinha respondido do mesmo jeito para o Sony. Qual foi o motivo? Você simplesmente não aguentava mais ouvir o que ele falar quieto, ou você quis entrar nesse jogo de trash talk?
Não tem jogo nenhum.
The question was, we've never heard you in the phone conference call talk the way you did. What was the decision on why you acted that way?
Não tem jogo nenhum. Acabou a brincadeira. Não tem mais brincadeira. Pode continuar falando bobagem, mas acabou. Sábado as coisas vão mudar. Muita coisa mesmo.
Playtime is over. He can say whatever he wants. Like I said it last week, and I'll say it again. It's over. On Saturday, a lot of things are going to change. It's going to be much different after Saturday.
I have a question for Chael. Chael, as you said, what do you think Anderson's next at the conference call?
Well, listen, if you knew your funeral was coming up, you'd probably have some party words as well. It's nice to see the real Anderson come through. I don't mean his funeral in a morbid way, but it's a funeral of a career, man. This is coming to an end. On 7/7 at 7 p.m., 10 in the East, and only on pay-per-view. Chael Southern Promotions, in conjunction with Zufa LLC, will bring to you Southern vs. Silva 2, the end. He will step aside, and the man will walk through.
Richard Hunter, KRLD, Dallas. Question for Chael. Chael, the UFC is running promos highlighting your loser leave town stipulation for this fight. Can you clarify for the record that you have rescinded that offer, and if so, what motivated you to pull it off the table?
Well, that's the way that offers work. I put it out there and he didn't accept, and I had to fight with Munoz, and then ended up fighting with Bisping, and it didn't work. I mean, there was anything I could do to lure him into this match. So, that offer got put out. There's been a lot of them that were put out there, but yes, it is rescinded. Chael Sonnen's not going anywhere.
Anderson, o cenário dessa luta mudou um pouco, né? No começo seria no Brasil, com a torcida brasileira a seu favor, acabou vindo para os Estados Unidos no final de semana da independência americana. Isso mexeu um pouco com você, ou mudou um pouco a sua estratégia dessa luta? Como é que você se sente aqui em Las Vegas?
This fight has changed a lot. You know, it started off being in Brazil, and now it got changed to Las Vegas in America on Independence Weekend, 4th of July weekend. How do you feel about this?
Para mim não mudou muita coisa. Desde que eu cheguei aqui, houve muita polêmica em relação ao que o Anderson estava proposto a fazer dentro do UFC. E eu acho que o povo americano que assiste o UFC viu o Anderson que há muito tempo não via nenhum outro tipo de lutador. E é isso que eu vim fazer aqui, vim fazer o meu trabalho, independente de qualquer coisa, eu respeito os americanos e tenho certeza que eles respeitam o meu trabalho, e é isso que eu vim fazer aqui, fazer o meu trabalho.
It doesn't really make too much of a difference where this fight is at. I'm going to do my job, whether anywhere in the world. You know, I came here, and regardless, you know, the fans who see the type of work that I do inside the octagon, and regardless if you're American or what country you're from, I respect all the countries, and I'm sure that they respect my job that I do inside the octagon.
Anderson, você é o maior campeão da história do UFC. Com todas as provocações do Chael Sonnen, tem como não levar essa luta para o lado pessoal?
With all the controversy that Chael Sonnen has been saying, is there a way to take this fight as a professional and not take it personal?
Claro que tem.
Of course there is.
Question for Anderson. Anderson, a lot of people talked about Chael's wrestling in the first fight, but he outstruck you as well, especially early in the fight. Were you unprepared for his striking, and do you feel like you can turn that aspect of it on in the rematch?
Muitas pessoas sempre falam do wrestling do Chael, mas na primeira luta ele bateu em você mais que você bateu nele. Você fez umas coisas no teu treinamento para mudar isso nessa luta?
Para ele bater em pé tem que ser mágico, impossível ele bater.
For him to be able to strike with me standing up, he has to be a magician. It's impossible for him to stand up with me.
Chael, do you have a response?
Why are you asking questions in English? Anderson sits here like he doesn't understand you. Ed Soros interprets, and we got to hear it a second time. First off, he speaks English, and second, we could replace Ed Soros with an app I could download for $9.99. This is the strangest thing I've been part of. You know, people ask me if I wanted to go to Brazil for the fight. Sure, it'd be neutral territory. Anderson lives in a mansion in Beverly Hills. Las Vegas, Nevada is closer to him than it is to Westland, Oregon. He's got home court advantage. What are we even doing here, guys? This is insanity. He sits over and pretends he doesn't speak English? Come on. Like pretending you're the world champion. I can't believe that walks around with a fake belt. That's insane. I would never do that. Oh, boo. Oh, you went too far with the fake belt.
It's kind of like the way you speak Portuguese, right, Joe?
Exactly. $9.99 app on my iPhone.
Who's your daddy? That it? No more questions? Right behind you. Okay.
Anderson, você se lembra da última luta para a qual você se preparou, da forma com que você se preparou para essa? E nós vimos um dos seus treinadores dizendo que para a primeira luta contra o Chael você não estava 100%. Dessa vez a gente vai ver o Anderson 100%?
Do you remember the difference of getting ready for the first fight with Chael in comparison to getting ready for this fight? And we heard one of your trainers say that in that first fight you weren't 100%.
do you, I guess, maintain the calm? Because I can kind of see, I can kind of just see, the stress coming off. What are you doing to maintain that level of calmness before you step into the octagon on Saturday night? Like, what's keeping you from, getting real personal?
Don't answer yet, Anderson. You got to pretend you don't understand.
Parecendo muito tranquilo. O que você está falando para você se sentir tão tranquilo assim e não deixar isso passar dos limites?
Se você treina 100%, o resultado é 100%. E eu estou 100% treinado. O resultado vai ser 100%.
If you train 100%, the result will be 100%. I'm 100% trained, and the results are going to be 100%. This question is for Chael. The road to a championship bout is a hard one, and the fact you've managed to get here twice now, do you feel like there's any more pressure this time around for you to get this belt because it may be your last?
Yeah, you got to understand, you have to earn pressure. If I just walked into this thing and I was green and it was my first time at the dance, I wouldn't have anything expected of me. I have earned the right to feel pressure. And it doesn't matter how I feel. Happy, sad, sick, indifferent on 7/7 at 7 p.m., 10 of the East, and only on pay-per-view. They are going to call my name, and my music hits those speakers. I'll put that mouthpiece in, and I will make that walk because I said I would. I signed a contract, and I'll do it. No matter how I feel, no matter about pressure or anything else. And that ref says fight, I will.
Anderson, a lot of folks maintain that you are the greatest fighter in the history of the sport. Just want to know where you see yourself kind of in the pantheon of greats in the sport.
Muitas pessoas falam que você é o melhor lutador que já lutou nesse esporte. Como você se sente quando as pessoas comentam isso?
Eu tento manter sempre o meu foco. Acho que ser o melhor não é um fato, né? É uma opinião. Então, você tem que estar sempre focado, treinado e com os pés no chão.
I have to stay focused. When someone says that I'm the greatest, that's not a fact, it's an opinion. So I just try to stay focused and try to, keep my feet on the ground and just stay focused to do my best.
And then for Dana, you've obviously been pretty clear on your thoughts on where Anderson ranks with the all-time greats. If he were to lose on Saturday, does that knock him down a couple things?
No, everybody loses. One of the things I think that's even more amazing about Anderson is everybody doesn't realize he's like 38 years old too, and the guy is still performing at that level, which is a feat in itself. He's still the greatest, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world at that age and has shown no signs of slowing down whatsoever, and I do believe that he is the best ever.
And Chael, do I dare ask you where you see Anderson in the list of all-time great fighters?
Listen, man, his record speaks for itself. He's a good, durable fighter. He's the champion, but I am the best. And there can be only one. I'm not going to make any apologies for that. He's done a good, solid job. He's a durable guy. I'm a world-class athlete. He's a martial artist. I'm a cage fighter. And there's a tremendous difference. And on Saturday night, there'll be one more in the win column, one more for the highlight reel, and one more for the bad guy.
First question for Chael, Angel from the MMA Puerto Rico. Chael, can you talk about your actual motivations behind this fight and your drive to be the champion?
Well, I mean, listen, this is the entire point of sport. It is for championships. It's Olympic year, it's about sacrifice and getting to the top. And I hear some guys, for some guys it's about respect, and I don't know what that's about. This is a fight, it's a competition, there can be only one. Your skills against my skills, your heart against mine, your sacrifice against mine. And there's no point in paying the prices that I've paid for anything less than to set your goals at the top.
For Anderson, any concern that you might, from you or anyone in your camp, you might come into this fight too emotional and maybe drive away from the fight plan a little bit?
Tem nenhuma preocupação com você ou nenhum dos seus treinadores que você vai entrar nessa luta com muita emoção e vai tirar você da tua estratégia?
Nope.
Last question for Dana. You have to stand up there and listen to Chael say, I don't promote fights, well, then he says, Chael Promotions in conjunction with Super LLC. You have to laugh about what he says. What do you think when you listen to him say stuff like that?
I've heard him say it all. I've been in some crazy places where he said it all, and you know, I don't know if we've heard it all, but it's Chael. It's just, you know, the thing about Chael is, and I said this before, is I respect the fact that he does talk a lot, but he goes in and he fights. The guy definitely backs up his talk. So.
Yeah. Yes.
A question for Chael. Chael, up here. All your criticisms and witticisms are all quite calm and calculating and very, very entertaining, I must hasten to add. Last week, when Anderson Silva kind of spilt the beans emotionally in that conference call on the phone, did you take something from that? And was there anything you left out of it in terms of the criticism he poured forth towards you?
No, I don't. You know, there's no gamesmanship here with me. I'm not trying to get in his head. I don't even really know what that means. You know, look, he erupted. The real Anderson came through. You know, he tried to talk down to me like I'm Vitor Belfort and I'm going to wilt and go in the corner. The fact is, I've been picking a fight for 2 years, and it looks like I found what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Chael, to follow that up, where do you go if you're unsuccessful, not upset? Where do you go mentally after a devastating loss that you had in a minute of being the champion? Where do you go from here?
Well, listen, it's like anything in life. You know, you put one foot in front of the next either way. After this fight, I will do the same thing I always do, which is take my Aunt Paulette out and get her a lobster tail.
It's a question for Anderson. Actually, there's a lot of rumors out there that he might retire after this fight, win or lose. Have you entertained any thoughts of retirement?
Tem muitos fofocas rolando falando que você vai se aposentar depois dessa luta, ganhando ou perdendo. Tem nenhuma verdade?
Nope.
Questions for Anderson. You know, you listened to Chael Sonnen do all this stuff for 2 years, 2.5 years, and you never really responded to it. So why did you choose the conference call to come out and say all this? Did you just want him to know what you were planning to do to him? Was it just emotions? Were you having a bad day? Was it to hype the fight? Why choose that particular moment to come out in a way that none of us had really heard you before?
O Chael Sonnen teve falando muita besteira nesses últimos 2 anos e meio. Por que você escolheu para falar umas respostas de volta para ele naquele conference call? Foi por quê?
Olha só, acabou a brincadeira. Vocês não estão entendendo o que vai acontecer. Acabou a brincadeira. Não tem mais brincadeira. Chael, em outras palavras, tá ferrado.
You know, I have no words to really explain other than the game is over. The game is over. You guys will see on Saturday night what I'm talking about. I don't have anything else to say other than he's screwed.
Anderson, Rádio TV Guarapuava, Paraná, Brasil. Muitas pessoas acham que o Chael Sonnen não estaria capacitado e credibilizado para estar fazendo essa luta com você. Através dos seus depoimentos, ele chegou nesse momento. O que você tem a dizer sobre isso e quais são as suas perspectivas para após a luta?
Many people are saying that Chael Sonnen doesn't deserve to have this rematch. And how do you feel, and how are we going to feel after the fight?
Olha só, eu também acho que ele não merece lutar, mas eu sou um funcionário do UFC e estou aqui para lutar. Se eu tiver que espancar ele mais 10 vezes, isso vai acontecer. Não vai ter problema.
I also don't believe Chael deserves a rematch, but hey, you know, I'm an employee of the UFC, and if I have to go in there and beat his ass 10 more times, I'll beat his ass 10 more times.
This question's for Chael here. Chael, you like your steak medium rare. Dana, have you ever seen a fighter insert the personal life of another fighter like this, commenting on someone's wife? And Chael, did you feel that you had to raise the stakes that way because it's that personal for you that you would comment on Anderson's personal life?
Well, in fairness, why don't you give us the quote? Because I continually hear what I said, but nobody's actually got the exact quote, and it's evolved a number of times. This is still a family event. I've never used profanity, and I never used the, you know, a lot of this is getting changed a little bit, and I'm not backtracking from any of it. It was great commentary, and I don't regret saying it, but at the same time, it wasn't said when it continually gets said that it's said, okay? People say it shouldn't be personal. Well, it is personal. This guy's come over to my house and he's trying to steal, and I'm going to meet him at the door with closed fists, and that's the way it's going to go. Okay? I don't offer an apology, and I don't really care. And if he wants to act like his feelings are hurt, well, where's he been the last 2 years? Where was he the 4 years before that? Where was Rich Franklin at before that? I called these guys, I've been the best for a long time, and I didn't get my shot. And I really don't give a damn if it hurt his feelings.
And for Anderson, is that more offensive than the comments Chael made about Brazil?
Os comentários que ele falou da tua esposa é mais ofensivo para você que as coisas que ele falou do Brasil?
Olha só, nós fazemos parte de um grupo seleto de atletas que representam uma grande companhia, que é o UFC. E milhares de pessoas assistem o UFC. E o Chael foi totalmente infeliz nos comentários dele em relação à minha esposa, em relação ao meu país. E isso reflete muito mal, não só para os americanos, mas para o UFC também.
You know, all of us athletes are part of a very elite group of the top athletes in the world that fight for this great company in the UFC. I believe that the comments that he made about my wife, the comments that he made about my country is very disrespectful, not only to me, but to the country and also to the UFC. I think that we're very elite top athletes and we shouldn't be talking like that about each other.
A gente não pode esquecer que ele caiu no doping, ele desrespeitou uma nação, ele simplesmente é um cara indisciplinado, físico americano. Então, esse cara não devia estar aqui no UFC. Mas tudo.
You know, just to say, I mean, Chael was, you know, he tested positive for steroids. He offended the nation. You know, he's been charged with a crime. It's just, I mean, how can you take anything that this guy says for real? I mean, this guy's ridiculous.
Anderson, right here. This is Rafa from Univision. You know, let me ask you a question about the rematch in a different way. I know you said that Chael doesn't deserve the rematch, but don't you think that maybe you deserve the rematch? Because in the eye of the fans, he basically handled you for 4.5 rounds, and then you submitted at the end. But other than whether or not he deserved the rematch, or whether or not you were injured on UFC 117, don't you think you deserve a little bit of just to go into the octagon and clear your name as the undisputed, undefeated, probably best fighter in the world?
Você está falando que o Chael não merece o revanche, mas você já pensou que você que merece o revanche para mostrar que aquilo não foi o Anderson Silva do normal que apareceu naquela noite no UFC 117?
Acho que não, ele ficou numa posição que se eu tivesse ficado 1 segundo eu teria acabado a luta. Ele foi finalizado e eu estava machucado, não é desculpa, mas para falar a verdade, se a gente for comparar o nível do Chael com os outros lutadores que o enfrentaram, ele não tem condição nenhuma de estar aqui. Ele lutou com um cara que foi espancado 5 rounds em Abu Dhabi e ele foi finalizado em segundos. Então, é meio estranho. Assim, eu não consigo entender muito por que ele está aqui, mas tudo bem.
Yeah, you know, Chael, once again, you know, I feel that he doesn't deserve it. It's not even so much about me. I mean, he was in his most dominant position for most of the fight. If I was in a most dominant position for a few seconds, the fight wouldn't have went the way it went. I know that my ribs are injured. I'm not making excuses. I'm more explaining everything. But, you know, he got, you know, the other fighters that I've faced in the UFC are much more qualified than Chael. I mean, I beat a guy up for 5 rounds in Abu Dhabi, and this guy submitted him in seconds in the UFC. So to me, I just don't think this guy deserves it.
How are you, Chael? Back here, Chael, on your right. We talked a little bit about this before, and you said that you tapped out in the fifth round, but you didn't know the rules that the fight was going to be over. Do you know the rules now, and do you think Anderson Silva deserved it?
Well, I gotta plead ignorance on that first fight. And you're right. I thought if you tapped, it ended the round. I did not know that the contest as a whole would come to a conclusion. I do now know, so that is cleared up. As far as deserving of a rematch, man, I don't get that talk. That's just ridiculous talk right there. You know, I'd love to give everybody a match. When I win this championship, I will never be a closet champion. The most frustrating thing about being an athlete in this sport is that you only get to compete 3 times a year. As a wrestler, I'd beat 8 or 9 guys in one day. And, you know, I don't get that who deserves and who, man, if you're 185 pounds and you say my name, I will give you a beating the same as anybody else.
This question is for Chael, over here to your left. I was just curious if you feel a lot safer about this fight now that it's been moved to Las Vegas.
Well, you might want to check your local paper. You guys aren't exactly a haven for civility at all. Just because we're in Las Vegas, all of a sudden, you start roaming around late at night. But I mean, listen, I'd rather not make the trip when you're cutting weight. The trip is hard, but fair is fair. Somebody's got to do it, and he did it the first time, and I would return the favor. So, you know, if you ask me where I would rather fight, I'd rather not have a long plane ride. That's a fair statement, but I'll do it either way.
Thank you.
We'll take a couple more questions. Media done? John?
Yeah, one quick one for Anderson. Anderson, you made clear that you don't think Chael deserves this rematch, but obviously you did take it, you're here. What changed? Why did you take the fight? Was it revenge? Was it just financial? Was it because Dana bullied you? What changed?
Você já falou que o Chael não merece o revanche, mas você está aqui preparado para lutar. O que foi que mudou a tua ideia? Foi o dinheiro? Foi o Dana te empurrando para fazer isso? O que foi a razão?
Eu amo meu trabalho, eu amo estar aqui na FIA. Desde que eu cheguei aqui eu sempre fui bem recebido, sempre fui bem tratado pelo Dana, pelo Lorenzo. Amo meu trabalho e estou aqui para lutar. Eu faço o meu trabalho feliz. Eu estou aqui para fazer o que eu nasci para fazer, que é lutar. E a gente não pode esquecer que o Chael falou de um cara que representa, acho que 70%, 80% da população americana, que é o Louis Armstrong. E ele falou que o cara tomou anabolizante, bababá, e agora está fazendo uma campanha e tal. Mas a gente não pode esquecer que essa reposição hormonal que ele está fazendo se dá ao tanto de anabolizante que ele tomou. Então, a gente tem que rever algumas questões, principalmente as pessoas que são responsáveis pelo UFC.
This is a good one.
To the second part, well, the first part was basically, yes, I'm here because I love what I do. Since the minute I came into the UFC, Dana and Lorenzo have always treated me very well. The second part is that, we can't forget, especially you guys as American people, can't forget the statements that this guy made about Lance Armstrong, who's one of the greatest athletes in American history. And him talking about giving himself steroids and doing all the things that he said that he did. But now also, Chael has got the TRT replacement, which to me and to a lot of people is pretty much a similar type of thing that he was complaining about, that Lance Armstrong was doping and doing all these things. And not only to myself, but I feel that the people responsible for the UFC and the Athletic Commission should take a second look at that.
A follow up with Chael, I mean, obviously not to open up that whole can of worms, but he's basically kind of, you've accused Lance Armstrong of cheating in the past, and he's kind of comparing you to that. You got a response to that? I mean, is TRT fair to be using, or what's your take on it?
Well, that's a ridiculous question. What's my take on it? I mean, come on, it's very public. I'm not proud of it. I don't take my medication, I will die. I don't need to apologize for that. What do you want me to say on the topic? Talk to the commission. There's a number of rules, and we'll follow all of the rules.
We'll do one more question from the media. We have one more? Right here? And then I'll open it up to a couple of fan questions.
Anderson, minha pergunta é para você.
Você tem o hábito de reverenciar seus adversários após as lutas. Depois disso tudo que foi construído, depois de tanto falatório, você pretende, em caso de vitória, reverenciar o Chalsone dentro do octógono como você fez em 2010?
Anderson, customarily after the fight, you always, greet the opponent after you beat them and talk to them and show them respect. Like you did the last time with Chael, you did the same thing. Do you plan on doing that this time?
Claro. Isso é esporte. Eu acho que eu sou um atleta marcial. A disciplina marcial que eu tive durante toda a minha trajetória me ensinou isso, a respeitar a todos os meus adversários. Já cometi muitos erros, mas eu acho que você tem que aprender a todo tempo, você tem que ser melhor do que você é o tempo todo. É isso que eu tento fazer, ser melhor do que eu fui no dia passado. É isso que eu estou fazendo o tempo todo.
Yes, of course I will. At the end of the day, this is a sporting event, and I trained martial arts my whole life, and one thing that was taught to me is that I respect all my opponents, and he doesn't make any the same thing falls under the same category. Even though everything that he said, I'm going to respect him because that's the way I was raised and I was trained to think that way.
All right, I'm going to have the guy take the mic over here to a couple of the fans. Don't ask me about tickets or anything else. Keep it all right to this fight here. Raise your hand.
You still
Go ahead. Whoa, they'll bring your mic. Calm down, big guy. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Chill. I know with the Fat Expo on Live 1, how's the weight cut going?
Man, it's on track. It's a bear. It's always a bear, but it's part of it. You agree to do something, and it'll get done.
All right, give the mic to the yelling guy over there.
Right here.
There you are. Not that you need a mic. There you go.
Silva, do you still stand by your statement that you're going to inflict injury on his face? And what is your reply to Silva's statement?
Antes estão sendo vai fazer aqui que você falou na press conference que você vai quebrar a cara dele.
Yes.
Give the mic to this guy right here in the red.
Chael, with the growing population, the youth that follow this sport, you got a lot of your kids out here to see their heroes, their sport figures. Do you ever feel that you may be setting the wrong example for the future?
Do I know? Absolutely not, man. This is about competition, and it's about going after what you want. If you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, it's fine with me.
One more over here.
Austin, I'm here for the week, and my birthday just passed, so I wanted to ask you something. It'll be kind of a dream. If
I'm not doing anything. Keep it all specific to the fight.
If I can put the belt on next and when it wins.
No. Specific to the fight. I said that before we started. Keep it specific to the fight.
Dana?
Yeah.
What's the fight predictions for each fighter? How do they predict that it's going to go? That question
How
is
do you
for both
predict the
fighters.
fight's going to go?
Man, victory. All I can tell you is it's going to be a hard fight. It's like we just had to do this primetime show, and they come out and they get ready to spar, and so they say, "Hey, should we turn the cameras off?" I said, "Well, they didn't turn the cameras. Go up, but you're going to spar. He's going to study that." It's like, guys, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to walk out there as soon as I get the chance. I'm going to wait for him to throw a kick like he always does. I'm going to put my forehead in his chest, run him into that cage, put him on his prissy little ass, and run this into his head for 25 minutes or until he gives up. That's my prediction.
Anderson, ele quer saber como tu acha que a luta vai ser.
Vou bater nele, eu vou bater nele, eu vou bater nele, ele vai tentar me agarrar, eu vou bater nele de novo, eu vou bater nele, eu vou bater nele, e ele vai desistir.
Well, the way it's going to go is I'm going to hit him, then I'm going to hit him some more, then I'm going to hit him even more, and then he's going to try to grab onto me. I'm going to keep hitting him until he gives up.
All right, I'm going to go over here to the left side. We got a mic over here on the left. We can't see you folks, but we can hear you.
All right, this question is for Silva.
Silva, I'm a fellow Silva, it's my last name too. And I just want to say you're the greatest fighter in the history of any sport. And I just want to ask you, Chael's been talking a lot about how the fight's going to go, 25 minutes or until you give up. What's your prediction on how long it'll go? First round, second round, TKO, KO?
Anderson, meu sobrenome é Silva, então, mas é o mesmo sobrenome. E eu também queria saber o que tu acha, como a luta vai ser. Se tu acha que vai acabar no primeiro, segundo, terceiro, o que é a tua opinião?
Eu acho que vai acabar no primeiro round.
I believe it's going to end in the first round.
Next question.
This question is for Chael. I was just curious, has submission defense, especially the triangle choke, been a priority in this camp?
Well, we work on everything, man. Everything's got to get better. You know, bigger, stronger, faster, meaner, punches, kicks, wrestling. Everything's got to get better. And you know, all I can tell you is that Chael of today could beat up Chael 2 years ago, and Chael 2 years ago stopped this ball.
Hi, this question's for Chael. If you were to win the fight on Saturday, would you grant a rematch for Michael Bisping?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I will not back down from anybody ever. And I think Bisping is excellent, and he's a very hard puzzle for me. For my skills, it was a very hard match. I'd fight him 5 times in the same day. I will never, ever, ever back down. When the day comes that I won't fight a man, I won't fight any of them. I'm not a bully. I will never pick on people that I know I can beat. If I knew I could win this fight, I would have showed up.
Awesome.
We'll do one more.
Hey, this is for Chael. I just wanted to know why you reneged on your retirement if you lost this match. And if you do lose this match, will you please retire and go into pro wrestling? Because you got the perfect mouth for it, man.
Well, I don't know if I reneged, man. I put an offer out there and it didn't get accepted. The ball wasn't on me to pull it back. It was not accepted. What you're talking about came after a fight with a gentleman named Brian Stan. I had to go sign a contract to fight Mark Munoz, signed another contract to fight Michael Bisping, and to work like heck to get this contract signed. So it wasn't on my part. I put an offer out there, it didn't work. I had to put new offers out there.
All right, thank you all very much for coming today. We appreciate your support. We're going to rip this stuff out of here and get these guys ready for some photo ops. Thank you.
Oh, Dana. Yeah.
Well, that was...
Say Anderson. Chael. It's for charity.
Like I said,